Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to today's live session. We're on day number 66. We're starting off a new week, and I'm super excited for the conversation that we are going to have today because we will be addressing one of the biggest challenges that shows up for us in our everyday lives while we are chasing the goals. The kind of challenge where even the motivational clips fail to sometimes push us through, where we feel alone, where we feel lonely, and we think, am I the only one who's struggling with all of this? Because a lot of times when we're chasing our goals or when we're trying to improve our lives or when we're trying to complete a project or get somewhere in life, whatever area it may be, the biggest challenge that comes up for us is that progress feels invisible. Tell me if you've resonated with this, that every day you're showing up, you're putting in the effort, you're trying your hardest, and yet the results are just not showing up. Life doesn't feel like it's rewarding you enough for the work that you are doing. And it feels like everything you're doing, no matter how many hours you put in, no matter how much learning you do, no matter how sincere or driven you are to create the result that you want, it just feels like life is a never ending cycle of struggle where you're doing, but never really succeeding. And when this happens, here's the funny thing that happens next. You look at people on social media, you look at people around you, you look at situations and all these other reference points that you have outside you, and you keep drawing one inference after the other, all leading down to the same conclusion that says, I'm being left behind. I'm not doing enough. Something is definitely wrong with me because of which I'm not able to grow and succeed. And all these thoughts, ideas, and worries start bothering you on even when they just shouldn't. And then progress feels blocked even more. And so it's like this never ending cycle where everybody except you seems to be progressing. Everybody except you seems to be achieving more and more and more and more and more while you are still on the same level, wondering what you're doing wrong. Well, if you think about it, that's a level a lot of us are at. Now, I'm doing these YouTube sessions for you and I'm showing up live here every single day. I want to give this quick example to help you understand the perspective I'm approaching this conversation from. Today is my 66th live session. I have more than 1,000 subscribers on my channel, but it's not like every single subscriber tunes in for the session, right? They don't. So some days the numbers are high, some days the numbers are low. But every single day when I end my live stream, I do get to see the numbers of the people that tuned in, of the people that showed up. And as I'm seeing, I've seen that over the last 1 or 2 months, that number has remained pretty much the same. Subscribers have grown, no doubt about that. But the number of people attending live, that has stayed the same. And if I just focus on that one thing, that I'm doing my live sessions for so long, only the same few people are tuning in, what's really the point? Do you think I would have been able to come to 66 sessions if all my progress felt invisible to me? Not at all, because I have built the skill that I want to help you build today of being able to recognize progress, not just in the big leaps of faith, but also in the small steps of everyday life where it shows up magically. It shows up through beautiful examples. It shows up in ways you might never ever expect. And that is why it's important to understand this vantage point, beginning first with the conversation of why does it feel like other people are progressing so much while you just keep struggling? Well, here's the simple way to understand it. I want you to think that, okay, I have this diary of mine here. I want you to think of this as a level in your life, okay? You're at this level. Your aim is to be at this higher level, way up here. And if your aim is to be way up here, and if you try to bring yourself to this higher level every single day, you're living your life, you're at this level, you're looking at this higher level, and if you're just moving like this, doesn't feel like progress. You've moved towards the goal, but doesn't feel like it because rather than this jump, Your focus is on the gap that is still remaining. And that is why, even though you are improving in whatever area it may be, you are not noticing that as improvement. But the reason you can see that as improvement in others, and in fact appreciate that improvement, is simple. If they are here and they've gone here, this is what you focus on. This jump right here is what you notice. Why? Because you don't have clarity on their bigger goals, and you're not comparing the current version of them with the future person they have not yet become. Rather, what you're doing is something pretty simple. You're just looking at where they were and the journey they've covered up till now, and because of that, you're now able to create that impact on them, and you're able to appreciate the progress that they've made. Now, when you're comparing yourself and feeling envious and jealous instead, rather than feeling excited or happy or driven for the other person, that's also happening because of the same phenomenon. They are here, they were here. You're noticing this jump. What's out of your mind and this out of your sight and all of this, it's not in your awareness, is the fact that they also have a long journey to cover. You do not see that. So when you don't see that, and you only see this, you notice their progress, you acknowledge their progress, and you compare that progress against the path you haven't even covered yet. And then you're wondering, after such flawed comparisons, as to why you're feeling left behind, as to why you're feeling that progress is invisible, and why it feels that success just isn't happening the way you want it to happen. Well, this is why. Rather than looking at the improvements you've made, you're still looking at the big goal you haven't yet achieved. And the lack and insecurity of not having achieved that big goal is what is driving a lot of your actions today and pushing you away from the reality you want. Now, the day you can reverse that, and the day you can start feeling happy in the process that you're doing, the day you can start feeling aligned in the work itself, rather than how you'll feel when the end result is there, rather than progress feeling invisible, progress will start feeling like the most fun part of your day, no matter how small it may be or how big it may be. But for that, you first need to be able to build the skill of recognizing small wins rather than just expecting perfection, because that's what you do a lot of the times with yourself. You expect yourself to be perfect, you expect yourself to know everything, you expect yourself to be able to figure out all the challenges at the right time without any barrier, without any other sort of issue, because you think, I know enough, I should be able to do it. So when you fail, or when you fall flat on your face, or when something or the other happens, you are not able to grow through it gracefully, because all you are looking at is the big failure you had rather than the multiple successes you had stacked up. Again, why? Because when you're looking at others, the vantage point is different. When you're looking at yourself, the vantage point and the comparison is completely different. So the way to break it through is to become aware of the small wins that you're having every single day. The number one reason people don't lose weight is not because losing weight is hard or it's a rocket science. No, it's pretty simple. Eat less calories than what you need, burn more calories than what you need, and your body will adjust and your body will start to lose weight. Work on the emotional causes of stress and all the other things that may be going on, because of which your body is holding on to the weight, and boom, like this, the weight is gone. But a lot of the times, people think it will be like you sleeping one morning and you're overweight and you've just closed your eyes and you're lying down in bed, and the next morning when you're waking up, oh, I have abs. That's not how it works. Yet in every area of your life, that is what you expect. So even when internal progress is happening, if you're going to the gym or if you're exercising, you don't notice it. A few weeks later, you're still thinking, I'm the same person. Maybe I'm loving the exercise a bit, but still I'm looking like the same person, right? I'm not actually becoming healthier, because your vision of healthy for yourself is so different that you're not even noticing the half of a pound or half of a kilo that you lost in this week just by showing up. And yet, because that does not happen, then you don't get the desire to keep acting on things, then you don't get the desire to keep showing up, and so you get inconsistent on the goal that you wanted to act upon because it didn't have enough external validation. And because it didn't have that, then you ended up sabotaging the very thing that you wanted and the progress that you wanted to create. Rather than feeling excited to cover the rest of the journey, you were feeling demotivated, because small miracles happen in your life, but the big one is still pending. So rather than working towards the big one, you start believing the big one just cannot be possible. And if the big one cannot be possible, you let it go and you sabotage and you stop dreaming bigger. Well, my answer to you is simple. If you want to succeed and if you really want to stop feeling that your progress is invisible and you're not growing, start recognizing your smallest of wins. Even if you did half a kg of weight loss in this week, that counts for something. That counts towards the goal. And 2 years of doing that thing, you're in the best shape of your life. In your career, if you're feeling that I'm not really growing enough, what value am I adding? Think about a question. Now, this is a pretty crazy question, but think about it. If I'm doing this role and I'm not replaceable, and I quit this job, how is the company going to bear the losses? What are the possible problems that could happen for the company? And when you think about this, you will realize, wait a minute, me and my skill sets are way more powerful and way more valuable than what I even thought of. Now, when you think of your work from that lens of value addition itself, every small thing you do towards improvement starts feeling like progress. And everything that you feel good towards, everything that you feel positive towards, is what leads you to the success that you want. Now, I gave you the example of my live sessions in the start of this live session as well, right? Well, for me, the measure of success is not the number of people showing up. It's how good I feel after I've done the session. And I feel like, yeah, I gave my best. Or do I feel like, you know what? Maybe I could have done better. I asked myself, what is it? What am I feeling? And based on that, I can recognize, okay, if today was better than yesterday, right? I'm giving myself credit for that, because that positive energy pushes me even more to show up consistently, where despite the external results not being like exceptional or viral or anything like that, I'm still showing up with the same authenticity, drive, and energy to make this impact happen, to make this growth happen for you and for me as the beneficiary of my own work. That is what drives me to show up here. But the only reason I can show up here is because I recognize the small wins along the way. I recognize the times consciously when I get a thank you message from someone. I consciously ruminate on and relish the memories where I have been proven that I was successful and I was growing, because the more I'm aligned to that energy, the more I get it in my life. Just like that. Ask yourself this question: where in your life are you just noticing your failures and failures and failures rather than areas of improvement? Where in your life is progress feeling invisible, not because it is invisible, but because you have been refusing to acknowledge it? Thinking what? Thinking that if I do this, I will get the end outcome I want. So you're doing it for the outcome rather than doing it for yourself. And the more attached you are there, the more you look to other people, the more you look towards just that big result rather than the person you're becoming in the process. So shift the focus, bring it back into being, bring it back into doing and recognizing the small wins, stack them up good enough, and you will be amazed at the magical life you end up creating. So, my assignment for you for today and for this week is to stop feeling like a failure, first of all. You are not a failure. Not a single person on this planet is ever a failure. That's a given. And so, from that lens, I want you to take on this week and start noticing all the tiny and big ways in which you're putting your achievements down, in which you're putting your success down and feeling like there's no point of growing. And I also want you to notice consciously where are the areas where you are seeing that whatever you're stuck upon, maybe in some other area of life, you are doing the things with the right quality traits. Observe that, recognize that, treat it as a win, give yourself that respect. And when you give it to yourself, the opportunities and the people who respect you walk right into your life. So I hope today was helpful and you understood this one core thing, that no matter what happens, no matter what people say, your progress is yours alone. The external outcome will come when it will come. If you can recognize the small wins today, you have become someone who's mastered the key to being consistent, because you have learned to rewire your desire system and pleasure system, to seek that not in something outside of you, but in you and in the pursuit of your excellence. The day you can make that shift happen is the day all your actions align and you become the best version of yourself. Carry this question throughout the week and see what are the lessons you want to carry, what are the achievements you want to celebrate, which you probably haven't, and where do you need to acknowledge that progress has been happening, even though you've been calling it invisible just because the big goal has not happened yet. So reflect on that, relish on the joys of that, and see how quickly acknowledging your past experiences of love and success will get you to even more love and success much, much faster. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you tomorrow once again at the same time. That is 8:30 p.m. IST. Bye. See you soon.